This time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions, we will get the carburetors onto the GS1000. G'day everybody, welcome back. Mystery solved. Thanks to everyone who was chiming in too on the last video. But after I recorded and edited that, I got online and I started doing a little bit of research myself, just going through the microfiches on websites, the spare parts websites. And I finally tracked it down. The early GS1000 head is what we're dealing with here. So it's not, at some point somebody has thrown the other head away and put this one on for whatever reason, who knows. This is the issue with buying these old bikes. If this series has taught you nothing else, it probably highlighted the fact that it's really worth buying a bike that's in good running condition and spending that few extra dollars at the start, and that'll save you in the long haul, because by the time you go to all the trouble that we've had to go to on this bike and all the expense, it would have been far more economical to go and buy one that was in good running, riding, registered condition. But hey, it's been a journey, it's been fun. All right, so we've got the O-rings. Suzuki had them in stock. Obviously the manifolds are different on the early cylinder heads because they had different carburetors. The port sizes are smaller. I've been led to believe by a few of you that the valves are a different size as well. I don't know, I'm not sure about that. I haven't looked at it carefully enough. I do know when I was looking for exhaust valves, they were advertised as like from 78 to 82 or something. So I don't know that the exhaust valves are different. Perhaps the inlets are. You'd know. So we'll get the manifolds suited and booted and bolted onto the cylinder head, and then I can offer the carburetors up and see how far we get. Just on a side note too, now I just checked the battery on that receiver, and thankfully it is nearly flat, so I'm going to change the batteries. This microphone setup I use is a BOYA setup. It's very good, but unless you've got someone there monitoring it, you don't know what's going on. And this type of video production, obviously you just can't go back and reshoot it. Well, you could, but I'm not tearing the bike apart for your benefit. So the first time you know about it is when you're in editing and you hear this. So there you go. Let's change the batteries and get on with it. These are a static seal, not a dynamic seal, which means that they don't move. Obviously, OBS. Just put a bit of rubber grease on them as more of a release compound than anything. Right. I suppose I better have a look at what's going to be a pain in the ass to put on after the carburetors have been put in there. Things like the clutch cable, probably the oil line here too for the external oil cooler. Let's have a look at that. I've had a little bit of a rethink about this. What I think I will do before I attach the carburetor and the clutch cable and everything else is pop the tapper cover off, fit the battery, put some oil in it because it's been drained, and crank it over and get the oil flow up the top before and then put the tapper cover on, because once I put all the cables and everything else on there, it's going to be a pain in the neck. So I'm going to go and do that now. Guess I better put this on because that will leak. I suppose that's sort of how they had it running. Can't really remember. I can't remember. All right, battery's in. Got oil. Just going to put a bit of oil all around the camshafts, buckets, and timing chain. Give it a fighting chance while we're waiting for the oil to come up. Okay, spinning my thing. we've got oil to the top. So I'll put the tapper cover on now. All right, rocker cover gasket. It did have some bridges on here, which I've cut off. It was obviously just to keep it stable while it's in the packaging and being handled. New seals for the end of the crank. I like to use a bit of Permatex. Sorry, this is a Loctite aero type gasket goo on these rubber half moons. I also put a little bit on the top. Now, of all the gaskets you're going to remove, this one's the one you're going to remove the most, because every time you need to check your valve clearances, this is the one you're going to take off. So don't glue it on. But where you have an interface between gaskets and surfaces, such as this, it is a really good place to leak. So I tend to like to put a little bit of just on the just where they intersect. And as always, it's how I do it. You do what you want to do. I'll put the gasket on here because if you are a gluer and you're going to glue it to one surface, you probably want to glue it to the one that's easiest to clean, which is the tapper cover itself. However, you'll damage that gasket on that timing chain putting it in. Just be wary of that, because it truly is a goddamn pain in the neck to get in here. Rotten thing. All right, rocker covers on, tension down, decorative covers fitted. New gasket, new rubber seals for the end of the, where the machining reliefs are in the end of the cylinder head for the camshaft journals. So that's done. So we'll get back now to clutch cable, carburetors, etc. All right, where were we? Things have changed a bit because we've lost a bit of natural light. I've had to shut the door. Ollie and his mate are just outside there playing cricket, which is good because it means they're not sitting in on their bloody Xbox. And I had to go for a ride. So let's attach the clutch cable. Light stand's going to be right in the way. Just move that. Right. I'm not 100% sure where that was routed. That doesn't look right. Kind of just wants to sit there. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's offer up some carburetors. All right. It'll be easier to attach the cables now.
Oh, I hate this bit. Looks like we've just about got them on there. Not convinced they fit these manifolds as well as they probably fit the ones that were made for the carburetors. Righto. They're on, methinks. We'll see if we get any vacuum leaks in there. Right, that's the carburetors in. Let's see if we can sneak this airbox in. I might actually try getting it somewhere near its top mounts, getting the bolts started in that. No, I don't think I will. Because I think those carburetors have got to tilt up a little bit, but the struggle is real. I don't really want to put any lubricant on there because my experience is that when you do that, it just falls out just as easily as they go in. Alright, it's amazing what a little bit of a break will do. I just went and had tea or dinner, depending what part of the world you're from. I came back and I managed to get it to go together. I'm not happy with it. I used a heat gun, just warmed up the rubber ends and it made them malleable again and it went together fine. But I'm not happy with it. It's really not a good seal. I think, personally, and I'm not sure, but my gut feel here is that those carburetors are too short with that manifold arrangement. So I think that they would normally sit back further, hard up against the airbox, which means that the manifolds would need a flange spacer. So I think that, I'll run it, we'll see how we go, but I think that if it's sucking air through those manifolds, we're going to have to deal with that. But that's that part for now anyway. The carburetors are in for now. I was going to fit a new air cleaner. I've got a K&N air cleaner here, just needs to be oiled. I was going to fit it, but there doesn't appear to be a seal around the side of the airbox, so I'll source one of those. But that doesn't stop us moving forward. Spark plugs. If you've ever wondered if it's a pain in the arse to work in and around all this equipment, wonder no more. Alright, carburetors are in, spark plugs are in, airbox is back together. all I need to do now is plug the vacuum line for the petcock, hook a fuel line up to here, and crank it over.